What's up guys, it's IPL time and kuch hi din pehle I came across a video that Chennai Super Kings' YouTube account had posted of MS Dhoni entering the CSK camp, and I kid you not, seeing that video gave me goosebumps because it really got me reminiscing about the time that I knocked on MS Dhoni's hotel room door and got a chance to meet the legend. So it's nearly been 2 years since that happened, and it's a shame that I still haven't shared that epic story on my YouTube channel, but better late than never, as the cliche goes. So let's rewind to March of 2022 when I got an offer from CSK to work as the anchor as part of their content team, which meant staying in the same hotel as all the CSK players and traveling with the team throughout the season. When I got the offer, of course, I was very excited about the role, but I was even more excited about the prospect of meeting MSD. But very soon, whatever excitement that I had fizzled out because on day one at the job, we were given strict instructions, we as in everyone who was part of the content team, not to go anywhere near MS Dhoni, and in the event that we were seen anywhere near him, the consequences would be very severe. But despite this warning, I was able to pacify myself, thinking ki, theek hai, at some stage as the anchor of the team, I will be interviewing MS Dhoni. But even that wasn't to be. I interviewed every single member of the CSK squad except MS Dhoni. Why? Because he's MS Dhoni and MS Dhoni does what he wants. And so the season went along, and the closest that I came to the great man was exchanging a couple of smiles, a couple of nods, but that's it. Not even a handshake. All my friends, cousins, family members are asking me, Dhoni se mila kya? And I'm telling them, nahi, ab tak nahi. Feeling very embarrassed. We're now approaching the fag end of the season, and I'm sat there thinking that, you know what? It's going to be a real shame that despite the fact that I spent 3 months in the same hotel as MSD, I was part of the CSK camp, I didn't even shake hands with MS Dhoni, let alone meet him. What am I going to tell my friends and family members? And most of all, how am I going to be able to forgive myself? But I just couldn't find like an entry point or come up with a strategy to get through to him. Time was running out and we had entered the last few days of the season, but just like MSD does not panic during a nerve-wracking run chase, I didn't panic. I took it deep, just like MSD does, believing that my time will eventually come. 20th of May is when CSK was playing its last match of the season. 19th of May was CSK's last practice session, and the 21st of May was when all the players were leaving the camp and going back to their respective homes. So my plan was that I'm going to write down everything that I would have told MSD had I gotten a chance to meet him in person in the form of a letter and hand over that letter to him on the 19th of May during CSK's last practice session of the season. So I wrote letters for not just MSD but some of the other players as well, with whom I developed a close friendship over the course of the season. I handed over letters to Rutu, to Mukesh Chaudhary, to Mitch Santner and a couple of other players, but as luck may have it, MS did not attend the last practice session, and I was absolutely gutted. We've now come down to the final day of the season. It's do or die. It's now or never. CSK is playing its final match of the season against the Rajasthan Royals, and since it's a match day, there's no practice session on that day. So all the players are confined to their respective hotel rooms until the team bus leaves for the stadium around 6 p.m, which meant that the only option that I had if I wanted to meet MS in person and hand over the letter to him myself was to go to his hotel room. But that seemed like a very risky proposition because all of CSK's big bosses were staying on the same floor as MSD, and what if one of them saw me? That's when I thought about giving up my quest and instead asking one of the room service guys to go over to MS's room and hand over the letter to him on my behalf, telling him that one of the members of the content team wrote this for him. But this guy, whose name I'm going to protect, let's just call him Legend, this legend is the one who instills belief in me. And he tells me, listen, worst case scenario, I hand over the letter to MS on your behalf. But typically in the afternoon, right after lunch, people are resting in their rooms and there might not be anyone in the corridor of the floor in which MS's room is. So be on standby, and in case the coast is clear, you can hand over the letter to MS yourself. So it's squeaky bum time for me, and I'm secretly hoping that this guy hands over the letter to MS himself because I just wasn't being able to muster up the courage. But lo and behold, he gives me a call saying, hey, there's currently no one in the corridor. The coast is clear for you to go. That's when I'm like, oh shit, this is the moment of truth. I start panicking, thinking, what if I end up getting caught? Then I'm thinking to myself that maybe I should ask for permission. But then a beautiful life lesson that I'd once learned from Tim Ferriss struck my mind like a hint from heaven, which is that if there's something that you really, really, really want, and there's authority standing between you and the thing that you want, never ask for permission, but ask for forgiveness instead. Not to mention the fact that even if I asked for permission, there was absolutely no way that I was getting it. And lastly, I thought to myself, what's the worst that's gonna happen? It's the end of the season anyway. There's absolutely nothing to lose. We're all going back home tomorrow. So the room service guy comes to my room, hands back the letter to me, and then wishes me luck. My heart is beating at the rate of knots, but I wasn't gonna back out. I left my room, took the elevator to MS's floor. I got off on MS's floor. I looked to my left, I look to my right, and I see that the coast is clear. I then absolutely darted towards MS's presidential suite, which was at the very end of the corridor. I take a deep breath and then knock on MS's door. And this guy, who was a part of MS's entourage, he opens the door, and you can clearly tell that he's very upset that there's an intruder. He asks me ki kya kaam hai, and I tell him ki sir ko bas ye letter dena hai. I enter MS's suite and see MS at the dining table playing a board game with Tommy Simsek, who's CSK's physio. I walk over to MS, introducing myself, telling him I'm Anubhav, part of the content team, and I know we haven't spoken throughout the season, but I just wanted to hand over this letter to you, telling you how much you mean to me. MS gets up from his chair and then shakes my hand, which is the hallmark of a top man. Not sitting down and extending his hand, but standing up and then shaking my hand. He takes the letter from me, thanks me, after which I ask him if I can take a picture with him. He obliges, and I hand over my phone to the guy who opened the door, requesting him to take a couple of photos, which he does. After which I thank MS and wish him all the very best for the game that day. I thank the guy who took the photo as well, but you could tell that he wasn't too pleased, to put it mildly. I darted back to my room like a child in a playground, absolutely chuffed that I was able to fulfill my quest. But I swear, within 2 minutes of having reached my room, I get a call from the CSK team manager. Did you just go to MS's room to take a picture with him? That too when he's playing his favorite board game, which is how he relaxes on a match day. I'm absolutely trembling with fear, and I tell him, sir, I didn't go to take a picture with him. I just wanted to hand over a letter to him. He then tells me, but did you take a picture or not? I said, yes, sir, but that wasn't my primary purpose. I wanted to hand over a letter, and I also thought about taking a picture after I handed over the letter to him. He then tells me, you wait and watch. Let me take this up with the management. I'm in my room playing the waiting game, stressing about how this is going to play out. In the meanwhile, I think about forwarding the photos that I'd taken on my phone to my email address as well as to my dad's email address as a backup in the event that they check my phone and ask me to delete the photos that I'd taken on my phone. The wait was agonizing. Just a few minutes felt like an eternity, but I finally got a call from the head of the content team, and he asked me to come over to his room. I go to his room, very nervous because I'm not sure how this is going to play out. But then surprisingly, all he tells me is, Macha, it's nearly the end of the season. Let's just finish this without any drama na, macha. I apologize sincerely to him, telling him that I just wanted to hand over the letter to him, after which I go back to my room. And I swear I breathe a sigh of relief, thinking, fuck yes, I got a chance to meet MS Dhoni. And I spent God knows how many days after that just thinking about how memorable that encounter was. Now my friends, cousins, family members asking me, Dhoni se mila, and with a lot of pride, with my head held up high, with my chest wide, I'm telling them, haan mila, and koi aisi waisi mulaqat nahi thi. This was an extraordinary encounter that I had with him. If you're still watching this, then aap bhi us room service bande ki tarah legend ho. But if you want to be an ultra legend like MS Dhoni, then like this video. If not for me, then for MSD, because one like equals one run for MSD in this IPL season. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Lots of videos in the pipeline, including one in which I describe how I met Virat Kohli as well during the same season of the IPL. In the comment section, let me know which team you're going to be supporting during IPL 2024. I might be wearing the CSK jersey, but I'm doing so only for the purposes of this video. My team is KKR, always has been since 2008, not least because I'm a Calcuttan born and bred. Lastly, if you like this video, then there's a high degree of probability that you like this one as well, in which I talk about all the invaluable life lessons that I was able to pick up from MS Dhoni during my time in the CSK camp during IPL 2022. That's it for this one. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and cheers.